I just picture Gantana lifting weights in the mirror and just being like, they're here.
Welcome to the Beacon House Podcast, recorded live in Knoxville, Tennessee.
And that's how C-Spot Run got me ready for a slew of abandonment issues. See Tiffany run back to her car. Tiffany's not going to text you again.
That was good, man. That's one of my favorite ones.
All right, cool. Not that we cut there or anything, but so
Yeah,
Spencer, what's going on today?
I don't know. It definitely was not a cut just now, though, because we were trying to get the microphone situated, right? That definitely did not just happen.
Definitely didn't happen. Stamm, hand me that skull. This is, honestly, this skull, I think is Stamm's perfect skull size. Just like some more cheekbone structure.
For those listening, Casey is holding a plastic skull. Also, if you guys didn't guess, by Casey's...
That skull probably has more hair than me, just saying.
Anyway, it's going to be Edit City right here. Fucking, in case you guys didn't notice by who Casey was addressing, we finally have Eric Stamm on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen.
But we have one more guest.
Yeah. And the reason that we have Eric Stamm on the podcast is because Eric possesses a vast knowledge of football, especially college, not just football, sports in general, college sports in general. And we need him here to help us talk to our other guest, who is the biggest Tennessee fan, just the biggest Tennessee fan.
Did you bring Stamm in to be James's lion tamer? Like basically hold a chair and a whip being like, hey.
I know James did go see The Lion King.
There's no taming, James.
Beautiful.
Yeah, there, yeah. James no tame. James. Fucking James Cooper is here, ladies and gentlemen. Give it. You guys have heard us talk about James on the podcast before. James is the reason I got to meet Alice Cooper. So he's actually got some stories about the rock and roll business. He's worked with some gigantic names in rock and roll, but we're going to get back to that because right now, particularly,
Spencer wants to talk about football for some reason.
Listen. I spend a lot of time. I see James a lot. James is a diehard UT fan. Would you guys say this is the worst year of Tennessee football? What do you guys think? Stan, lean into that mic.
With the season not even being over yet, yeah, definitely.
But like, since when was there a year like way back in like the 30s or the 20s or fucking how long UT's been around?
Not since I've been alive.
Better. Is this because the team is struggling so much this time around, or is it because you guys were dumb enough to go in with expectations for once?
I kind of feel like they're worse.
All of the above?
For once, or you mean the past 25 years?
Oh,
I feel like this season's better than the year. Was it last year that you guys won Battle of the Bowl and you had like a whole championship celebration only 2 weeks into the football season?
Why are you saying you guys? It's not like I'm on the fucking team.
Well, I'm asking those two.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Well, we didn't go to a bowl game last year, so thanks for that one.
No, I'm talking about Bristol when you went Battle of the Bowl. You played Virginia Tech, second game of the year, and then you guys had like confetti and a big trophy.
Yeah, I was there for that game, actually.
And Butch Jones was like hugging his players. He's like, "We did it, guys! We won a championship." And then all the memes came out being like, well, the only way to win a championship in UT football history is to make the week or the season 2 weeks long.
Oh,
I mean, you're not wrong in a way, but
we won the Champions of Life trophy.
That's right.
Oh,
those energy vampires came out.
So, like, I gotta say, you guys are taking this pretty well because it's.
Well, that's because they don't have Butch Jones anymore. That's at least
you mean,
a light at the end of the tunnel.
Bitch Jones, thank you very much. Bitch Jones.
Sorry.
James, what's your opinion? Was Butch Jones good for anything? I feel like he had a little bit of steam for a while.
Butch Jones had the biggest cliffhang I think we've had for our coach in God knows how long, because after the Northwestern game, for the bowl game, we won, 9 games, Stamm?
I think so, yeah.
And everybody was like, we about to whoop some ass next year. And then it was a clusterfuck from hell because nothing else happened. And he got fired for going 4-8.
Is that really why they let him go?
Yes.
Let me just ask you this. Is there not any when a coach gets hired, can they fire him anytime for any reason?
It's not smart to, but I think technically the athletic director
like, is there not anything in their contract that says, like, look, they're here for 2 years no matter what?
No, it's just that they have a buyout. And
we don't have the money for any type.
You have to
of
pay them
buyouts
more
right now.
money if you don't.
Hell, we're still paying Butch Jones
Hold
for a
on.
buyout right now, and we just can't get money to do another buyout.
Jesus Christ!
That's
what a
why
mess.
everybody wants Pruitt fired, which I think is insane because Pruitt's only
Pruitt
this is his second year. So
Pruitt did one class for a recruiting class, and it was 4 weeks, and he had to patch up Butch Jones's shit work that he tried to get for a recruiting class.
Yeah, but you don't
So-
lose to Georgia State.
So
No,
hold on.
but
Here's the
this is
thing.
afterwards, kid.
Here's what I'm getting at is Pruitt's only been here for 2 years.
Yes.
All right. So if they were to fire him now, which is what everyone's calling for on Twitter,
Hell no.
if they were to fire him now, they would have to give him a buyout plus pay Butch Jones his buyout still, and then try to find another coach who was like, "Ooh, University of Tennessee, fuck yeah, I want to work for that school."
James, is it true?
Absolutely not.
Which is why they're not going to fire him.
There's nobody who wants that job.
Is it true that nobody wants the coaching job at UT?
I wouldn't say no, but I mean, as of right now, in the past 12 years, I'd
I
say
mean, nobody
yes.
outside of the East Kentucky School of Cosmetology. You know,
If I
Hey,
may,
sorry,
I expected that to get a lot more laughs than it did. Fuck
I
you
would,
guys.
I would love
Fuck
to
you
sign
too,
a
Richard.
contract.
Fuck you,
and then
Richard.
get
Fuck
fired
you,
for
Richard
like
Nixon.
$2 million.
One more time.
Take
So I would love to sign a contract for something I can't do and get fired and then earn $2 million or whatever it is.
Shit, I'll take the head coaching job at UT. I think
will.
I can. I think I'll just have the team Hail Mary it down the field every time.
dude. What would
Shit,
happen
dude, if you give me a third of what you make, we can go in together. You
Yeah.
can keep most of it.
if you guys coached the football team? I think it would be very exciting. If
We would beat Georgia State.
They'd have capes and shit.
If we had a consistent quarterback, we would beat Georgia State and BYU.
Okay, now that's what I was about to say. I know very little about football, other than its effects on the local economy and how it affects us. But I did do a little bit of research so I could talk with you guys. And
Wait,
one
Spence's
thing,
version of research goes very wrong.
okay, well, like on AZ Sports Nashville, it said the biggest reason Tennessee is failing right now is because we have a horrible quarterback.
Our quarterback was like the second or third ranked dual threat in his class, and it might
What does that
be
mean?
the most.
What does that mean?
Nothing.
He-
Absolutely nothing.
But I mean, what is that? Is that supposed to mean?
terrible.
Technically, it's supposed to mean he can run and throw, but however, this guy can't do either. Apparently, it seems like
And
consistently.
that's Garantano.
Garantano.
Well,
Apparently.
and here's the
Garantano.
thing: is everyone called him Garantano, and then this year
He had
his
to go get his
third
name
year,
switched for
He
it.
was like, "Actually, my name's pronounced Garantano."
That's how long it takes him to do things.
That's and then
Not
he
wrong.
said he basically came out and said, "I want to be called Garantano instead of Garantano because that's how you pronounce my name."
Well,
and then after that, he
Garantano-
can't throw a football.
You're like-
it's like I want to. It's like a genie went. All right, you can either have people pronounce your name correctly or you can be a quarterback. And he was
Fucking-
like Garantano, god damn it! And they're like, "All right, you're not gonna be able to throw."
Dude, somebody
Well,
needs to be like, before
Jared
you change your
Garantano-
name, draw a picture of a football with these crayons, you fucking troglodyte.
Well, Jared Garantano was better than Jared Garantano, so let's go with that.
Apparently, neither one of them can score a touchdown.
And then they have two redshirt quarterbacks, but neither of them are any better because they're still freshmen. They're still
Well, now that it says here,
Fresh.
true freshman Brian Maurer.
Maurer.
Sorry,
Dick.
You guys are gonna have to keep. You know what, James?
Cocksucker.
Okie doke. Let's just try to be friends here. James gets a little worked up over sports and stuff. Richard.
Fucktard.
So anyway, it says that guy got into the game in the third quarter, and he seems to be okay. They seem to think he's going to be okay. But there's some guy coming. They have a commit.
Harrison Bailey.
Harrison Bailey. He's supposed to solve the problems next year.
Maybe. There's also a transfer, Kasem Hill, who's...
What are
He
you
played at Maryland, and he's actually not terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no matter what, they have to wait till next year to get any kind of quarterback.
So what the fuck is going to happen the rest of this year? I mean, it's pretty bad.
If they go up against Georgia next week,
You mean
with-
if or when? Because it's going to happen
Well, I know. I'm
regardless. They
saying-
got to come here at 7
what I'm
p.m.
saying
and
is
we're going to get royally
next
fixed in the
week,
ass, so
next week, this next coming Saturday when they play Georgia, if they use Garantano,
Tano.
I think they would have a
Fuck
better
'em.
chance using Maurer and just putting Garantano on the bench.
Agreed.
really, you
Just-
think so?
They're still going to lose because I mean it's right now Georgia's kind of on a hot streak, or I might be wrong.
I think
They might
our-
bring Maurer out and Tennessee upset the fuck out of Georgia at home. It's happened before.
That would be awesome.
I will say I think our better chance is let Maurer and Strout both play and let JG learn, hey, you're screwing us over, so guess what? Your play of consistency is not doing anything, so guess what we need to do? Let you watch and let young guys that just came in play like everybody else is starting to see young guys get more time versus the older guys because it's working and the young guys are starting to just go straight to the ball and rather than them go full speed and screw up, then not do anything and try to be conservative and get screwed over.
Well, how about this? Listen, there's another thing I read where it said that they feel like part of the Vols' problem lately is their quarterback coach. Is this a guy named Winky?
Chris Winky.
Okay, and they say that we need to go move on from that guy. Do you agree?
No, because
You think he's doing an okay job?
Tyson Helton last year came in and, yeah, he made him conservative, but, I mean, JG still hasn't been no world beater from that to this, so whatever.
Chris Winky was a good quarterback in college. I mean, he should know what he's talking about.
Florida State.
But he hasn't been here long enough to make a judgment. I mean, he doesn't have much to work with.
Okay.
This also is his first year, too, coaching quarterbacks, because last year he was coaching the running back.
Who's your athletic director?
Phil Farmer.
No, I'm sorry. Your offensive coordinator. Ugh.
Jim Chaney,
And he came from.
Georgia.
This was the one. No,
Is there anyone on the staff that you don't know immediately who they are?
I mean, you could try.
Who's the towel boy? Who's the guy who runs water?
It could be me if you pay me enough money for it.
Who's
All
working
right.
at the fucking hot dog stand?
So this is
Spencer's buddy next.
this was the hire between last year's season
Hunter,
and this year's season.
I saw you laughing at that. Thanks, Hunter. Hunter's he's having a shit giggle fit over there. Thanks to James.
So this was the hire from between last year's season and this year's season, where all the Tennessee fans who I knew texted me and was like, "Ooh, we got Jim Chaney. What up?" And I honestly don't know who Jim Chaney is, but I know that on the subreddit, all the Georgia fans were like, "It's not a good hire. We promise you." And then Georgia State happened, and
I disagree with that.
All the Tennessee fans were like, "What
Amen.
happened?" And Georgia fans were like, "We told you, Jim Chaney's not."
Okay, you guys respond.
I disagree with that. Jim Chaney's legit. He's been a winner everywhere he's been. Like,
Well, till now.
yeah, until now. But he doesn't have anything to work with. I mean,
He's turned Nathan Peterman, for the love of God, into a draft pick. And he was a dumpster fire at Tennessee. Then he goes to Pitt and was a fucking world beater from hell, apparently.
My thing with Tennessee this year is that all the fans want a bowl game, they want to win and things like that. But what they don't want is to have to wait for this new staff, new team to build. And that's
Yeah.
what they need. They need this year to build. They're going to lose.
Hell,
They're
we
going
need
to
next
get
year
their
to
shit
build,
kicked
too.
in. I don't know. I feel like next year you guys will be way better.
well, we've already
Well-
been building for 20 years almost.
That's
So,
what-
I mean,
but
it's-
things
fans are getting
change.
impatient.
Every
this
4
staff-
years, things change.
Yeah.
With this staff, there's Pruitt came out and said there's 80 of them are either true freshmen or sophomores right now. So
But my thing is,
you still need this class coming up and then probably the next one to make sure you fully have actual depth and you don't have different cultures with other players from different coaching staff previously as well to
Right.
try to stir shit up with as well.
and one of the big things that I think is a problem, and I don't know if you guys agree, is, and I'm sure all the other teams in the nation have this problem, but it just seems like, I guess since I live here, I see it more. It's the volatile nature of the fans
see what
when
you
you
did
guys
there.
lose.
So now I wanted to get into that.
I actually didn't think about
That's
no,
adorable.
Like, when Tennessee loses, I look on Twitter and like look at the funny tweets. But in between the funny tweets are some of the harshest, most critical tweets from people who probably can't even throw a fucking football.
Oh, yeah.
Garantano made that shitty pass. It's like, motherfucker, how about you get out there and make that pass? It's like that pro football team that the guy made fun of the kicker, and so they had him come out and kick a football and he couldn't kick a field goal to save his life. It's
Tennessee
like all
fans are
these-
passionate.
I understand that.
I mean, how many other schools burn mattresses when their coach
well,
left?
let me ask you this: do you think? Would you rather have
This is
had?
killing
Or
me.
stop a coaching hire, by the way, that literally was about to be a shithole for.
You thought Greg Schiano was going to be terrible?
I mean, did you see the shit that he had to deal with in first place at Penn State? I mean, I don't think anybody else wanted that shit.
I don't
here.
think he's that great of a coach.
But here's my
Overrated.
thing: is hiring Greg Schiano, and then all of a sudden there's protests in the street. I mean, this goes to
Oh, I remember that
fake,
because he was at Penn State. And,
he was at Penn
oh,
State.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
apparently,
yeah.
people said he knew, but he hid it, and really, it came down to he didn't know shit.
Right.
Supposedly.
Allegedly, no one could prove that he knew anything. And
It
then
was his
so
say,
there was
he said,
there was a
she said,
protest
It
for
really
like
just
2
wasn't a
days
good
and-
hire, regardless of that.
Right, but having other coaches who are looking for jobs see that somebody is being hired at Tennessee and then their whole background's being scraped clean trying to find something, I feel like no other coach would want to come here.
I mean, hell, Mike Leach was about to be on the damn way, and then that got solved real quick.
Wait, wait, tell me about it. I don't.
Mike Leach was practically hired, and John Curry went behind the back of everybody because they were giving him so much trust and willpower to make a hire. And they fired him for not going through with the board and all that, pretty much.
John Curry was terrible, but Mike Leach
yeah.
would have been a fantastic hire.
Yeah.
Mike Leach would have been fucking amazing.
Was
You see how
he-
many
is he
power
the
flight
coach
ships
of-
we'd be seeing down
Who's
Tennessee
the
River?
coach of Oklahoma State?
Lincoln Riley. Oh, Oklahoma State. That's Mike Gundy. Mike Gundy.
Yeah, Mike Gundy. Yeah.
Wasn't he also in the running?
He
He
was
was
offered, but
supposedly
he
gonna
turned
take
it down
it, yeah.
because Oklahoma State gave him the same deal, if not a little bit more money.
Which I feel like a lot of, if they fire Pruitt, a lot of other coaches will use the fact that Tennessee needs a head coach just to get a better paycheck at their own school and not actually come to Tennessee.
Well, we don't.
Oh, yeah, that's
we, don't
happened.
we don't have the money in the first place to try to fire him either. I mean, we're paying so much for buyout already for Butch Jones still. That's being Nick Saban's towel bitch boy right now, and literally
Get it, James.
is.
Tell us. Get honest, man.
And wasn't Lane Kiffin at Alabama?
I mean,
for a
yeah,
minute?
he was
And
there for a year.
Wasn't Jeremy Pruitt at Alabama?
He was the
For the
defensive
record,
coordinator
by the
that.
way, Lane Kiffin
Does that make Tennessee Alabama's sister team?
No,
Because you
no,
guys,
Jackrabbit.
swap a lot
By the
of.
way, Lane Kiffin admits that he made
Jackrabbit.
a mistake in
Yes.
leaving Tennessee.
And that is the biggest what if, I think, in the past like 15, 20 years. If
Yep.
Lane Kiffin could have stayed, because his first year he held Bama to practically a field goal from going to be a win from like a 9-7 loss at Alabama. And that just goes to, if Kiffin would have stayed, we might
Right.
or might not be into this shit.
So listen. I have kind of a pragmatic question. Okay,
Of course you fucking do.
Because you know what, James, just give me a fucking minute over there, okay? And just like you said, your phrasing just now said, and then because I'm a guy that doesn't know a ton about football, but you just said Lane Kiffin held Bama to a field goal when they played in that game. Really, 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 and I want to hear what both of you guys have to say about this. Really, 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 like how much of it is 100% of the coach, and how much of it, like if you had a relatively bad coach, but you had like a solid quarterback that could call plays on the fly, and you had like really solid athletes that didn't make a lot of mistakes, is it possible that a team could succeed without a great coach? Or if you have a shit coach, are you doomed? And could a really talented coach take a shit team and make them win just by reading the playbook? What do you think?
I think it's more likely that if you have a bad coach but really good players, I think the really good players can overcome bad coaching. But I think it's harder for a good coach to win with bad players. You know, they have a saying, it's all about the Jimmies and the Joes, and that's pretty much, I think that's accurate.
Kiffin didn't actually come into a bad situation. He actually had players when Fulmer left. Fulmer didn't really have a bad team when he got fired. I mean, he didn't have like terrible players. It's not like Dewey didn't recruit an entire offensive line class for an entire year, and then Butch took over. And then it's not like Butch just couldn't develop anybody, and then Pruitt took over. So it's just been a decent hire looks, turns into shit. Another maybe decent hire turns into real shit. And then now we got to hire, and let's see what happens now. That's pretty much what it is, because not Pruitt.
It's like we're in the toilet
Butch
and it
kept
just keeps coming down. They're waiting on somebody to flush and they don't. The shit just keeps coming. I'm like,
so
how
what-
much did you eat?
And so what Butch did was, whenever he heard he was about to get fired, he started getting these what you call paper 4-star players, which means put a nice shiny cover on a toilet seat and see what happens, and that's it.
Damn.
Oh, so
And-
you polish a turd, and what do you got? You got just a really clean looking turd.
Shiny.
I mean, you open up inside, it's still a turd, so it don't fucking matter. I mean,
Shiny turd, no less. So okay. So here's the thing. I'm trying to move this kind of forward. And I know we could go on about the specifics all day about the players and their
you're
stats.
not wrong.
But like, this has been a big drought. Like, it's been a long fucking time since Tennessee's been good. And I remember when they were good. I remember Johnny Majors. You know, like I remember being in school and Daryl Dickey came to like my school and talked, and it was like a big deal. And the Vols were like rock stars. And then the Fulmer era was obviously legendary, and they won, you know, everything. And T. Martin and fucking Peyton Manning. You know, I met Peyton Manning when he was still in college. So Tennessee was legendary, and everybody's waiting on it to get back to that. But fuck, it's been a long time. Stamm, you said something that I thought was kind of poignant, and it made me kind of sad, because I don't consider myself like a big Vols fan, but I know you guys are, and it sucks because you're saying that now people are like growing up and they don't even remember when the Vols were good.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit.
If you're like 20 years old or younger, I mean,
or even 24.
yeah, all you remember is the Vols being terrible. You know, you don't remember the glory days at all. And plus, I mean, you have the fans that have been sticking with the program for a long time.
Right.
They've gone from being angry to frustrated, and now they're just like, they don't care anymore. It's apathy starting to set in. So it's getting like to the point of no return where a program has been bad for so long that you can't rely on the fan support anymore. Eventually, they're just going to stop coming to the games.
So that's ultimately the scary thing, is that the attendance is just going to drop. And then when that happens, they stop funneling money into the athletic program. Is that the death of a popular fucking sports school?
I don't know. South Carolina still has money for their athletic program, and I mean, look at
Tennessee's
that.
already ready to do discounted tickets already for the next home game, so I've already seen that on their
Are
page.
you serious?
Yeah.
How long has it been since they've had to do that?
The hell if I know.
Oh, fuck.
Honestly, look at a program like Nebraska, who was really good in the 90s, and then they've sucked for a long time. And now nobody thinks they'll be good again, ever.
And hell, Nebraska probably has arguably one of, if not the best team ever to play an entire season, too. And now they're gone to not being really relevant ever.
Are they kind of like us now? Are they about where we are? Would you compare Nebraska to Tennessee?
No, not.
They're further along than we are.
Yes.
And into the toilet bowl.
Oh, they're worse?
Yeah.
No shit?
They've been worse for longer.
It's been a
Hunter,
bigger drown.
did you have comments? Let's get Hunter in here.
Well, it was a question, so I was waiting for you guys to
go ahead.
finish up.
Go on.
Okay. I wanted to know where the money for the buyouts comes from in the first place.
Boosters.
Yeah, donors,
big boosters.
Yeah.
That's a good question, by the way. Thank you
was
for
just-
asking.
You're all good.
And when you say boosters?
It's the boosters that are the big boosters.
Donors,
like,
boosters, and ticket sales.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
ticket sales is what I was worried
and
about.
and pilot gas stations.
You're not, I was going to literally say that too. That's
Haslam, yeah.
every
Jimmy Haslam.
Yes, the
Jimmy.
Haslams have ran Tennessee football for way too long.
And Cleveland Brown football. Hey, look, both
There's a
of them are
comparison.
orange. Both of them are orange, and both of them are shit.
Both of them gone taking the Browns to the Super Bowl. It don't matter.
Oh, he's talking about toilet. That was a toilet joke, wasn't it? All right, so coming back from that, so Tennessee's having a hard time right now. We've been rebuilding for years and years. Talk to us a little bit about like what it's like to be a fan through all this, and I will say as much as it we've joked about it and stuff but you guys are diehard fucking fans. You still care about every game. You haven't tuned out. Like you're still into it. Look, just tell me what's it like. James, you go first.
When we were with Butch going to A&M and going when we went to Georgia, and then when Florida came here, with all those comeback wins, it was honest to God, lovely. It was nice. I was like, okay, this can come over any damn thing that fucking comes to the table practically. And then it just, you go next year and it's like, well, fuck. Because you still have pretty much the same players and you go 4-8.
Stamm, I've heard you even refer to there being a curse.
And,
Well, a lot of people talk about that.
everybody talks about that shit.
Well, there's the Fulmer curse. They shouldn't have fired Fulmer. People say that. Then there's another curse where, like,
We go to the swamp. We
the
can't win
athletic
for shit.
center where the football team works out and everything, it was built on top of an Indian burial ground, apparently.
Is this true? Do we know this?
I don't know that for a fact.
I mean,
I've just heard
it gets
that.
referenced in other things too. It got
That's crazy.
It got referenced in a Blind Side too, by the way.
I just picture Gantana lifting weights in the mirror and just being like, "They're here." So one of the running backs is like peeling his face off in the other mirror, like, So someone goes to take laps in the pool and their skeleton popping up out of the water.
Holy
Or like,
shit.
or like how Butch Jones said that Ty Shuttle slipped and went helmet to helmet with or his face hit a helmet that was sitting on the ground, something like that. Yeah.
And
Crazy
isn't it it might be a rumor, but isn't it a fact that Fulmer kind of slid in real snaky like backstabby to get his job and basically move the other coach out just because he was on medical leave?
Ooh.
I'm too old. I'm too young for this one.
I don't know about that.
Who was the coach at the time
What time?
before Fulmer took over?
Before Fulmer took over, it was Majors. There are some people that say that. I mean,
Majors had a heart attack. Fulmer took over.
he was in the hospital and he wasn't able to coach or whatever.
and Fulmer took over, won a couple, and then Majors came back, and then maybe 2 more games later, Fulmer just took over completely and
feel
fired.
like-
Yeah, there was.
And
I feel like from what I remember, Majors wanted out. I think Johnny was done.
but I also feel like Majors.
Well,
at one
Majors held a
point-
grudge for a long time.
Yeah,
Did he really?
I
Okay.
feel like he's made a lot of mentions about Philip Fulmer putting a knife in.
There's
his
a
back.
lot of he said, she said, and you don't really know what.
I don't trust
All
Philip
right.
Fulmer for a second.
Real quick. So going back to like those eras and stuff like that, and let's get this. Let's take Peyton Manning off the table.
Oh boy.
Okay, who's the greatest Tennessee quarterback?
Casey Clausen.
Don't you? That's been the best.
No quarterback can fumble.
I have opened a fucking can of worms now, haven't I?
My biggest memory of football growing up was actually my middle brother Adam, who's been on the podcast. Shout out Adam, screaming bloody murder at the TV over Clausen every single play during the seasons he was there.
No other quarterback like Casey Clausen could fumble on the 1 yard line and let the other team return it to their touchdown more.
Hey, at least he
than
never lost to
Casey
Florida.
Clausen. He never lost to Florida.
I have stories about Casey Clausen. I can't even tell on this podcast, but I'll tell them. Like,
Yeah, I know what
he
stories
was
you're talking about.
He was seen in an alley on campus being up to no good. But at anyway,
Good job, Dick, throwing him under the bus. Next.
I think maybe Conrad Holloway.
Who the fuck is that?
I feel like Aang.
He was
was
a
like-
majors quarterback.
That was like the first.
Conridge Holloway?
He was like the first.
What about
African-
Reggie?
He was the first African American like to be like.
No,
close to,
who
like,
was
football.
who was fucking Johnny Major's big quarterback? Reggie
Tony Robinson.
Tony
Tony
Robinson.
Robinson. Yeah, I forgot about
That's
He
the guy.
played in 1984 with Daryl Dickey.
That's the one.
And he only played-
Yeah.
I remember. Sorry, I thought it was Reggie something. Tony Robinson.
He only,
No, yeah,
he only
Tony-
started 11 times.
No, I'm wrong. Tony Robinson.
really?
Yeah.
Tony Robinson was the quarterback that beat Miami in the Sugar Bowl.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it. And didn't they refuse to shake hands or something like that?
I don't remember.
I remember there was some epic thing where we got to the Sugar Bowl and we weren't even supposed to make it. It was this big success story, and we got there and at the coin toss they wouldn't shake hands, and they were favored to beat us by a lot, and we beat the fuck out of them. It was like a revenge story. It was pretty good, but to my mind, I take it back. Tony Robinson's the one I heard the most about, but go on. Number one quarterback. What do you think? You say Conridge Holloway?
I don't know. I mean, it's hard to say because I mean I wasn't. I didn't see him play.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
before I was born. I would say he has to be in the running, and Casey has to be up there somewhere.
I mean,
Clausen?
I
No.
could've done it.
From my,
He's gotta be top
From
five.
my age, well, me being 24, and what I've seen so far, dear God, I even say
Heath
this.
Schuler was
Dear-
another good one.
Dear God, I even say this for that I can remember watching. Might be the crappiest practice player you've ever seen in your entire life, but Dobbs might be better than Casey Clausen with the way he could.
Well, wait,
run, with the way he could run,
They were
with
both bad.
Hey, he's doing great for the Steelers.
Is he really?
No, he's at the Jaguars now.
Dobbs was great. He just didn't have the best accuracy.
Fucking T.
What about
Martin.
Eric Ainge?
Eric
That
Ainge and T. Martin.
I could remember watching, doofus. I'm only 24.
No, I'm not talking about
Eric
you're-
Ainge had good years and bad years. Like he was inconsistent.
I feel like he had
T.
more
Martin,
good bad.
I would agree, was probably one of the best ones. He just didn't have a lot of years to play because he was behind Manning.
Yep.
I just feel like Ainge
I actually
had-
think he was better in college than Manning.
Well, he won a championship.
Well, he won-
Manning didn't.
He also could run out of the pocket real quick. He could do a lot of stuff that Manning couldn't do.
Hell, Manning ran out of the damn pocket too. He did
Not
the
like
bootlegs
T.
too.
Martin.
Nobody knew that motherfucker
Fuck
was
you.
taking that ball.
Not like T. Martin. T. Martin was better at running than Manning.
Well,
Clearly,
yeah, he was a
but I'm
dual
saying-
threat quarterback.
Dude, he was one of the
Doofus.
best. I think T. Martin's the greatest quarterback in UT history.
You can make an argument for that.
that I can remember watching.
Second
actually
would be
remember
Tony
watching.
Tony Robinson, whatever, from
No.
the 80s, Bobby DeBlock.
No,
Ainge,
no, Manning.
not counting Manning.
Oh,
I'd still think T. Martin was better than Manning
I take
in college.
who was it? We said it before.
Holloway? Conrad
Yes,
Holloway?
yes, second. If you're going to take Manning out, I'd say he's second.
Maybe, but just saying, like, T. Martin, you could make a case for him being the best, but if he was better than Manning, he would have been playing instead of Manning.
Yeah, you're right.
He would have beat him out.
Yeah, I get it. And Manning went on to throw for.
Yeah.
He was.
T. Martin had a hell of a team.
And I will
Yeah.
say T. Martin's defense.
when he was quarterback.
But T. Martin's defense, I mean, bailed him out a few games. I will be completely honest.
Okay.
There's
I
a few
got you.
games that defense was just absolute train wrecks, just destroying O-lines, quarterbacks, and whoever it was back there, just killing them.
So do you think T. Martin will come back and coach for Tennessee at some point?
He is
You mean-
coaching for UT.
You mean the receivers coach?
Ooh,
You wanted to bring that one up?
It's okay. I mean, it
really-
doesn't-
you really
whatever's
did it.
happening.
So
it's
yes,
not
that's
helping.
the answer to your question is yes.
Oh, zing.
Oh, cool.
Zing. Okay. So look, guys.
Dickwad.
We
So
wanna,
he's a receiving.
He's a receivers coach /
So
assistant
can he
offensive
answer the
coordinator.
question why Tennessee can't catch?
zing.
You mean if the balls could get to the receivers to catch
Oh snap!
Okay. Listen. So
consistently?
we got to be mindful of our time here. got a little bit of time issue going on. Guys, thank you so much for talking about UT football and sports and that kind of stuff. I do want to move on because we are not a specifically sports-based podcast.
God, I hope not.
Now, before we leave,
Thanks, James.
Before we leave off football, I just got to ask these guys one more football question.
Okay.
Do you think, kind of a two-parter, do you think Tennessee will score this weekend? And if they do, if they just score one touchdown, do you think that'll be considered as a win to the fans?
I think they do, and
In
hell
garbage
no.
time.
They do, and hell no.
When Georgia has their third string in, yes, we'll score. Yeah.
You talking about scholarship or walk-ons?
Honestly, all joking aside, I am a Georgia fan.
Cocksucker.
Thanks.
Just tell us how you feel, James.
I will say it's funny.
For the listeners, real quick, James is dressed in total orange right now. He's like sitting here across from Casey. He's got a UT shirt.
Very
He's
red
got
in the face.
He's got a UT hat on. Like he really takes this shit personally.
I am a Georgia fan. I like watching Georgia football. I'm not as
Bandwagon.
diehard anymore as I used to be because that shit used to have like that Hail Mary from 2 years ago ruined my month. Like it ruined my.
Sir, could you ask
it
who
awful.
was the receiver? Who threw the ball and who caught the ball?
It was Dobbs and
Today, Junior.
it starts with a J.
Jennings.
Jawan Jennings. Yeah, like I
Dobbs
said,
and Jennings. Hey,
Dobbs
can you
making
answer me a
great
question?
throws.
The year after that with Florida and the Hail Mary, can you tell me who the quarterback was and the receiver?
I could actually tell you the quarterback because Felipe Franks, and then the receiver was actually what's his name? Cleveland.
'Cause I know-
Tyreek Cleveland. That's who it was.
I know that
so,
field, bro.
This.
Yeah. Oh, so you can yeah. See, that's the lovely thing about Tennessee fans is they love shitting on you, but when you have something to push back to them, they go, "Well, fuck you."
Well, I only saw it on ESPN enough to know who the damn names were.
Yeah, I know.
so
Both
it's
of them
okay.
were put to Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On." Trust me.
Oh shit!
Probably on repeat for both of them to go back and forth.
Hunter's
back
got
and
something.
forth.
Hunter's got something. Get in here.
Bring it.
Well, I don't have anything. I'm sorry. I'm just amused by all of this. We can always just go back to YouTube and live vicariously through the times that Kobe got us to the championship, right? No, sorry, that was Michael Jordan.
Are we talking about basketball now?
Yeah, this is not basketball. You dimwit, football, where you like get the hockey stick and you like putt it around and shit.
Oh my God, this
So-
is the greatest.
so that's
this is
a
the
thi-
greatest bit Hunter's ever done.
We're officially moving out of sports now.
They use like those
That's a segue.
wicker tennis rackets, right?
Are you trying to talk about lacrosse or something? Like what the hell are you smoking right now?
And the
he's fucking with
weird ball they throw is called a shuttlecock, right?
And it goes right in your mouth, right?
Sports ball.
Sports ball.
And then it splatters and it looks like two snails wrestling on a t-shirt.
No,
right?
whoa, hey, come on. Dirty laundry.
No, two snails wrestling on a jersey.
Shout out Jordan Shipley. Okay, so listen, real quick. Let me kind of steer this back. There are other stories.
I'm disturbed.
We have other stories here other than football, and it's worth telling. James, you have had a very interesting experience working with some extremely famous people. Are you allowed to talk about what your dad does?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, give that to us. Explain your dad's job.
My dad is the head sound engineer for Bruce Springsteen.
But also, like right now, he's out with what, Doobie Brothers?
He calls them side jobs in a way, which, honest to God, can kind of frustrate you when you're just like, really, that could be somebody's dream job of doing this, or you're with this guy for a month or 2 or 3, or you're with this until Bruce goes back on the road. But yes, he is doing the Doobie Brothers right now to finish up for a friend.
Okay, but also though, one of his other side gigs, which is hilarious, that this is a smaller gig to him, but there's not really a bigger gig than Springsteen. That's about as big as you can get. But one of his other side gigs is John Mayer.
Yes.
But who else does he work with? Other people besides?
He went with John Mayer for a few months. I actually took 2 of my roommates to go see John Mayer.
Yeah.
Down at the amphitheater in Georgia, which was nice. It was different because I didn't really know what to expect. I mean, I knew what John Mayer was. I just didn't know what to expect for a live show wise for.
They say he fucking establishes a new level of guitar. Like people,
He's a fantastic blues player.
When he's live and he brings like the blues part of the band with him, like to play for the big 3.
Yeah.
It's actually really
he's legit.
really fucking good. It's creepy how good it is, actually.
I'm pretty sure Mayer went to Berkeley, didn't he? Isn't he a Berkeley guy?
I'm not 100% about that. I just
Sounds
know,
about right.
He's got legit chops, and he did a
he's really
special. He did a special a while back. Was one of those where you get 2 guys together, and he did one with Keith Urban. Mm-hmm. Remember that? And they went back and forth. And man, Keith Urban's playing is so high level.
That's also one of my dad's side jobs, by the way. was Keith Urban.
Jesus Christ.
Sorry, I can keep going.
I actually made some guitar cables for a guy that worked with Keith Urban, but regardless,
I know a few people on there.
I'm sure you do.
Keith Urban is the fucking worst.
I love Keith Urban.
Suck my left nut.
I don't.
Casey.
I love Keith Urban and Brad Paisley.
I'll put some extra salt on it too while it goes right and good for you.
I bet Keith Urban would be really into that.
This is getting good. But
No. Some
no.
ocean salt on it.
What I
so
was
we
trying
can
to say-
travel to Aussie real quick for you.
What I was trying to say is on that special, Mayer dialed his playing up to contend with Urban, and when Mayer dials his chops up, he sounds like Vi. Like you hear this advanced, like Lydian sounding, fucking. It doesn't just sound like a standard blues or whatever. He's got some modal weirdness and chops and stuff that his
It's
phrasing
good.
is.
It's
real,
good.
Yeah.
It mixes really well with it.
But you actually got to go out on tour with Bruce, and you were like part of the crew.
Yeah.
So, and you went overseas, and what was your, I mean, we don't have all the time in the world. I know you've got a million stories, but fucking give our listeners just kind of an idea of like some of the crazy things you see when you're literally on tour with fucking Bruce Springsteen.
Okay, well, on the way there, we left May 10th. The first show was going to be we left May 11th, sorry. First show was on the 14th. We hadn't even gone through customs yet in Spain, and my dad's over here saying, just be careful, make sure you're with us. I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. He's introduced me to some of the guys, and then the girls, there was 6-7 girls that were probably 40s and 30s, like late 30s to probably close to 40s. They were all like, oh my God, you're that guy. And the guy he just introduced you to is like, no, we're not. It's like, yeah, you are. You're part of the Bruce Springsteen tour. He literally whispers to me, hadn't even introduced me to him yet, says, go through customs, run from fucking hell because we got to get on the bus and gone before they know where the hell we're going.
So even this late in the game, I mean, and again, I know Bruce is still relevant. I know he just put out a new album.
He was 68 during this time.
fucking. So you literally are still having to run from fans. Like,
I didn't expect that, but yes.
and have you've met Bruce?
Yeah, numerous times.
Okay, and just give us, what is he like?
Probably one of the nicest guys you see. I know people say it all the time about this music guy or this famous guy, but really he takes care of the guys. Like he takes care of anybody out there that you're working. If you're working for him, he takes care of you. Doesn't matter. He doesn't ever really get too pushed over about anything unless you just do something really just stupid. But I mean, he does make some high demands. Like, for example, he does ask my dad sometimes, hey, can you make the sound go through the glass barrier right here? Like, it's just nothing. Like, yeah, Bruce, we'll just try. No big deal. It's okay. We'll try to make that work. But yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Trying to make sound go through glass doesn't go well.
Why? I don't.
Physics, I guess.
Yes.
Well, here's the thing.
Because they had the barriers set up for some of the games that they do for soccer games for split the home crowd and away crowd so they don't just kill each other in soccer games practically.
But on the day off, they're bringing a giant tour through there. So now
they can't really replace those glass barriers. They can't take those glass pieces out in time.
And the sound guy now has to
heavy.
contend with all that shit in a soccer. Because you got to think there's not.
That's where you have the delay towers, though.
Yeah.
And you have your 2 or 3 delay towers. You make sure each level sounds about right.
Well, dude,
the
and when
delays go well. And all
when
that
you're as
stuff.
big as Springsteen, you're not just playing at like concert venues. You're playing at sports.
You're playing
stadiums.
Real Madrid Stadium. You're playing in the soccer stadium in Milan, Italy, that holds 162 or 63, give or take, thousand.
Did he ever
people.
play Wembley?
Yes,
Well, and
because I actually did Wembley with him.
yeah, he's been to Oslo. What's one of the craziest stories? I was telling. I ran into James one time, and it was raining, and he had a little rain jacket on, and he reached in there. He goes, "I haven't worn this jacket in like a year." He reached in the pocket, and he goes, "Oh, hey, take a look at this." And it was the set list from Oslo, and it was just fucking crazy.
It was a probably 31, 32 song set list. That's kind of short in a way for him.
Like,
I dream of that. That sounds amazing.
dude,
That was short on that tour. But what happened was, you get to Gothenburg, Sweden, you're never going to find a crowd like that. Holy shit! We actually set up. We actually were there for 2 weeks. We went for 3 shows, and then we unpacked, went to other places in Scandinavia, came back, and then they made a welcome back sign on one side and it said Bruce on the other, and you couldn't even see anybody because they were all just holding up the signs for wherever they were. And there was 60,000 on the floor alone. Doesn't include that, by the way, he fractured that stadium because of one of his shows, because he was singing, I think it was Twist and Shout, and he fractured one of the sides of the stadium because they would jump up and down on the upper level so hard, the main structure cracked. So they actually had to redo with a whole bunch of outer poles and everything and
Dude,
cables to hold it up so
if
they
you
can do
are
shows the rest of the way.
if you are already Bruce Springsteen,
and that was 30 years on the day, by the way, we did that.
okay, if you're already Springsteen, there's not much you can do to get any cooler except be able to go, I break stadiums.
I literally fracture
fucking stadiums.
I fracture main structure of stadiums, by the way, with my crowds. What do you do?
Fucking amazing. So again,
Have you ever been to the Turnpike?
No, not yet.
the what?
I don't know. Doesn't he have a song about a turnpike?
The Turnpike. Are you thinking of Born to Run?
Sure.
I don't know. The New Jersey, the whole New Jersey connection.
I can honestly say I don't know a
I haven't been to
single Bruce
Jersey.
Springsteen
I haven't
song.
been to Jersey yet. So
Dude, I will say this: when I was in New Jersey, one of the people that was there, also hanging out with Butch Walker, was this guy Danny Gomez, who's like a musician and he's like a big deal around there. And he was talking about. He said Springsteen comes and hangs out all the time, and he's like one of the biggest like local philanthropists. He does a lot to help the community. He's like
he's pretty much the mayor.
he gives.
He might as well be the mayor.
He gives a fuck about New Jersey. Like so. Anyway, and so look. And just taking it back from, I've talked to James a lot, and the guy really treats his crew well. And if you get the chance to go see him, fucking, he's a legend. Go see him. But also, just to know from hanging out with James, all the hard work that goes into the production behind the scenes, like the crew guys, all the stuff, the camaraderie. And you even took me and Stamm to the Alice Cooper show. We met some of the people you know, and they were so nice. And it's like a family. So, like, go see these shows. Go pay for live shows and see them, because there's a lot of people that work together to make it happen. It's not just one guy with a catalog, but that guy is taking care of his whole crew. And just go see this kind of stuff. And you said your dad was with Bruce the whole time he was on Broadway.
Yeah, he did. He was one of the main guys that went with Broadway because there wasn't much going on.
And isn't that on Netflix?
There is a show. There is one night at least. There's one night that is on Netflix.
Okay, so you can go watch that. Now, also,
I will say though, when he starts talking about Born to Run, Born USA, I might give or take how you go with music and lyrics and everything. And the story behind the songs, it might put you to tears.
Well, because they're protest songs.
It made my dad cry like the first 2 weeks he did it in a row because of just him being him, and then with the way my brother was in the military and all that too. So it can make you practically cry.
Have you seen Blinded by the Light?
Like performed live? You're talking about the movie?
The movie that's coming out about the kid.
I have not seen it yet. I have not been able to really go see it yet.
Okay.
Neither have I.
I've heard it's good.
Okay. Fucking now also before we wrap up, and we talked so much about like all this. Your dad has one of the most technical jobs in music. But he also has a series of YouTube videos where he's talking about the equipment he uses, the plugins, and you get to see the computers.
It's with Avid. It's Avid. It's with Avid Studio.
How can our listeners look up that video and watch it?
Just type in John Cooper, Bruce Springsteen. It'll probably be literally the first thing that shows up.
John Cooper, Bruce Springsteen, and it's Avid Technologies.
It's Avid something. I just don't remember exactly what it is, but it's a give or take. There's numerous versions of it, but it can go from a 10-minute version to probably a 25 to 30, give or take.
I saw it, and it's fascinating. And the guy knows his plugins so well, and he knows
and he goes different ways for doing things. Well, it's not even meant to be used for this. Well, it works, doesn't it?
Well, and they also have
it sounds better, doesn't it?
Every computer has a computer that they have like 6 backup computers for every computer. They're running Pro Tools live constantly, and he talks about the mics he uses and the plugins and the Waves plugins, and it's awesome, man. The guy's a freaking genius.
I have it right here. I typed in John Cooper, Bruce Springsteen, and the first 3 videos are John Cooper on mixing Bruce Springsteen by Waves Audio.
Waves, that's what it was.
Bruce Springsteen's front of house engineer John Cooper at South by Southwest 2012 by Avid, and then front of house engineer John Cooper using Waves Max Volume plugin on Bruce Springsteen, which is also another.
Yeah.
See, the reason why my dad likes.
I can just imagine when we're talking about music and stuff at work, James is just like fucking amateurs.
But I mean, that's how I feel like, anyways, in general. But when it comes down,
oh shit!
I had a mouthful of coffee, or you would have had a mouthful of knuckles.
You would have a mouthful of nuts if you didn't have
Okay.
coffee. But however,
well, you know what? That's obviously going to be the end of the fucking episode right there. You cock faces.
Well, anyways, the reason why my dad likes Bruce so much is not because of who it is or what it is. For example, when the horn section comes with the band, okay, that's an 18-piece band my dad has to mix live, okay? That's one person that mixes the entire public audio for you're going to hear for wherever you're at for the show. Is mixing 18 different pieces. So the horn section's got 9 of its own for give or take what's going on. He's got Bruce, he's got Patty, he's got Nils, he's got Stevie, he's got Jake Clemens, he's got Roy, Charlie, he's got Susan, he's got all of them practically. I mean, I didn't name one of them, but I mean, it is
And
what it is.
did you-
And he's got so many different things going on.
Didn't you know
It's
Clarence
just-
Clemens before he died?
I mean, I remember meeting him, and I looked to my dad when I was like 4 or 5, and I'm like, people get this big? Like, seriously? Like, this guy's like a
For
monster.
anybody-
I'm like,
for
this guy
anybody
looks
listening-
like, this guy looks like the Hulk to me.
Do you remember, Sam? Do you remember who Clarence Clemens was?
Vaguely.
That was Bruce's.
He was he actually, before he got into music, he actually was, if I remember correctly,
Running back or something?
Cleveland Browns, like, got not drafted, but like he played for the Cleveland Browns, something like that. But he had a
Dude.
big knee injury, so he
Clarence
actually
Clemens is that
became a big
gigantic saxophone player
Yeah, saxophone.
that's
If
in
you-
all the classic Bruce Springsteen
ever
videos.
seen, yes.
Famously, the Dancing in the Dark video. He's like
Dancing in the Dark.
singing and like
If
dude.
you ever saw the Super Bowl halftime show when it was black and white, that was Clarence Clemens next to Bruce. And any type of show you see, if it goes black and white for just seeing two figures and it's a guy doing a saxophone, it's literally Clarence and Bruce every time.
And dude,
It
I
doesn't
grew
matter
up.
who
I
it is.
grew up
He's not
watching
going
those
to
guys on MTV.
He's not going to switch it with his nephew, which don't get me wrong, he said he's not bad, but it's just that he's not going to switch it from being Clarence, which is Clarence and
it's crazy
and the band.
to me that you knew those men. Like
And he practically actually thought about retiring and not doing another show because that actually really literally tore his heart out because of it. He literally tore his heart out practically that Clarence Clemens passed away like that. Like
I think probably
it
did a lot of
killed
people,
him.
yeah.
It killed him almost, dude.
Well, dude, thank you for coming on and sharing all those stories, guys. Go check out those YouTube videos of James's dad. And give him some love, man. The guy did me a gigantic favor. I'm not going to go super into it, but he allowed me to send him some guitar cables, and he distributed them to some very, very famous people just as a favor. And he actually looked at them and commented, and he was impressed with them. And so, like, go give that guy some love, man. Like his YouTube videos, and we hope to get to hang out with him one day when he comes to town. And for you and Stamm, thank you so much for being on. We
Sure,
want,
man.
dude, we want you to come back and
fun.
do another episode because we have a lot of fascinating conversations. And I cannot tell you how many times on this podcast we've said, if only Eric Stamm was here to talk about this.
Just because Spencer edits all of those out doesn't mean they don't happen.
Fuck you, Hunter.
Amen. Hunter.
So yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So let's get some more this week. And the guys, again, I hope the team, for the sake of both of you guys are tried and true UT fans, and I hope that it gets better. And there's probably a lot of tried and true UT fans out there.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Oh,
Through
shit.
thick and thin.
I didn't say anything.
I'll see
the
you in
point.
hell, McCoy.
James, can we get a before we go? Can we get
Piss poor.
That's all I was gonna ask.
Wait. What's the one? There's a little thing
Give
called.
us some of your slogans, James. Go.
What slogans?
Before you chugged all the milk, there's a little thing called something.
Little thing called anything's possible.
There you go.
Also,
Go get a power tea cup out of the car, by the way, clean it out, ready to go, drink a gallon of milk within an hour,
Piss
hold
poor.
it down.
Yeah.
You
Final
have,
thoughts?
you have a beatbox over there?
can you give us an extended piss poor, like what you would say to our friend Charles Traylor, who's been on the podcast? Like piss poor, DEFCON 1, redheaded stepchild.
Bandcamp.
Well,
Bandcamp.
you just took it out of me. I was about to say it, but I had to get my breath because I was going to go for a rant on it. But there you go.
Do you want to do a little rant? Do you think you want to rant about before we cut?
Rant about Spencer before we cut.
Don't rant about me. I'm nice.
The fuck you talking about?
Hunter's leaning in like he's got some shit to say.
Lay into him. Just lay into him.
Hey, I tell you what we're gonna do. We're gonna go out on a little song, and you just rant anything you want to say, like anything you're mad about, taking a shit on the 50-yard line, piss poor, whatever. DiGiorno. Oh yeah. Hunter, you ready? You're gonna be the background music.
Lean in. I thought you're supposed to be angry. Am I gonna have to be the angry one?
If you go, I'll go
Am I
with
have
you
to
too.
rant?
I don't have anything right just yet.
Are you gonna shit on the 50-yard line?
I mean, I would have that night.
You would have that night?
Yeah, I would have that night, and I almost still would right now because of the play.
Is it weird Tennessee's only gonna win one more game?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised right now.
Yeah. How do you feel about Spencer?
He's worthless fuck in a way, but I mean, it happens for shit like that.
Eat shit.
Oh, me
What about
eat
Stamm?
shit. Yours are worthless fuck too.
Oh my.